Hi all, thanks for coming to my second Freedom Friday. This is the alternate week, so we're going to focus on what I call natural intelligence, or my EarthStar natural element model. And I'm going to link it in with what we were discussing last week regards cryptos and finances, and that, as you'll see as I go along. Unfortunately, I was hoping to have slides today, and I've done all the slideshow, but I couldn't get them up to Skype. We couldn't get them to share onto my computer, so we will work on that, but apologies for that, because I know a lot of people are very visual and they like to see pictures. However, not to be, but I'll try and paint a picture as best I can. So my purpose with Freedom, EarthStar Freedom, is it's about awakening freedom, and how I am endeavoring to do that is through knowledge, which is knowing the ancient laws, knowing the occult knowledge, gnosis, as they used to call it. And we could say that's the truth. And also through developing our conscious creative abilities and having a purpose. So this is my Trinity, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I make my models based on numbers. So my Trinity here is truth, consciousness, and purpose. That's you could say that's one of them. That's my overarching it's my overarching model, if you like, for EarthStar. And we can develop it for our whole life. We can develop these models for relationships, finances. We can develop these models for everything, any area of our life. And just like a pyramid or a triangle is a very powerful geometrical structure, the triangle, the three sides are related to the Trinity. I call them Trina Trees. We can build Trina Trees. And you'll see this concept of three everywhere in nature. And if you divide a circle that's 120 degrees each division. This is another way of looking at it. And 120 times 3 is 360. And if you break the 120 down, half of 120 is 60. And these are the different angles of the circle. 60 degrees, 120 degrees, and the other key, another key angle is 90 degrees. And you'll notice they're all multiples of either 3. They either come back to 3 or they're 6 or 9. And this is what this links into a much bigger subject around Tesla, and Tesla discovered that these 3 numbers are the key numbers which bring energy into matter. And just as we can do it through the application of free energy and creating quantum energy, we can do it by applying it in our own life to our projects, by using the concept of 3. So that in relation to our financial side of things, we could create 3 key values, 3 key things fundamental to us for building a crypto portfolio or creating a financial security. And we could apply it to anything, but in this case, I can give you an example. So we could say that it's your ultimate as I make it based on foundation, action, purpose. So our foundation could be, a value that's something that's based on, a solid foundation based on your particular personality. I'm just winging this as I go. So something important to you might be, your purpose might be you're creating money in order to provide, make a retreat, or it could be anything. You want financial security, but I contend that we should create something a little bigger than that, something that's more humanitarian based. So you have the actual purpose, you have the idea of it having a purpose, and then you have what your particular purpose is. So that you could say is your vision as well, it's your direction. This is what your real why is. This is why we do it. And it could actually be, it could be that, you want to care for your family. It might be just a basic, more purpose just around the family, which is perfectly fine. And then we have the action. How are we going to get to that purpose? The action. What actions are you going to take in order to realize that? And that's obviously some of the content that I'm providing. But those actions could be, researching, could be, lots of things that we can do to utilize the knowledge base. Basically, we've always got three key things. And as long as you've got your foundation set and you know what actions you're going to take, and you know the direction you're heading and your purpose, that to me is fundamental. We could also make it out into 5 things, and that's where it gets a little bit more complex. And I am going to go into that with my EarthStar. With my EarthStar model, it's based on the 5 elements. So this is like more, you could say it's on a bigger context. It's a bigger picture. It's a wider lens of what we're trying to achieve. So to go into it, I'll start off with the earth element. We're all made of earth. We live on a planet called Earth. And the earth element is related to our body. And our body is a form of structure. And our body it's obviously a physical structure. It's material based. And this is our foundation. So we can make a model of our foundation, and the model itself includes the foundation. I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit complex, because it kind of is, but you'll get it. Basically, when you think of Earth, you think of building your foundation, and you think of doing actions that are in alignment with the Earth. So that's detailed. It's looking at the details. It's looking at research, and it's looking at the fundamental physical needs which we all need. So we could take the very basics. For some people, they might be needing shelter. They might be needing food. And food and shelter are very much fundamental earth-based things that we need for life. So when it comes to finances, this is our foundation. Earth is our foundation, just as our knowledge base could be our foundation, just as truth can be a foundation. So I'm taking this in a wider context in the sense of the earth element. You can fill in whatever is appropriate for you in what a foundation is, but I'm just sort of giving you the overall view, and then give you a few examples so that you can start sort of getting the concept. Another thing, a way I like to look at it is, if we say, I like to garden, I like to go out in the garden. So gardening is a great activity or action we can do to have a foundation in our life, because it's bringing you in touch with the actual earth itself, because it's actually applying the earth element in an actual direct way, where you actually are getting into the earth. So gardening or anything to do with the earth, walking in the grass or barefoot, these are other things that will help to get us grounded. And without grounding, we won't have the right balance. Our emotional, mental bodies can get out of balance if we don't have our feet on the ground. So it's the same with any project. The project can't fly. It can't actually have its proper structure unless it's grounded in the earth. Just like when a car, if we're driving in a car, it would be ridiculous to think that it had no body. If we had just had an engine and wheels and no body, we wouldn't be going very far. So in this sense, our body is like the vehicle. Our body, without our body, we wouldn't get very far in life. And it's exactly the same with our projects and with our aspirations in the financial area, the relationship area, our work itself, our career, and the fundamental tasks that we're doing each day. So that's really how I see the earth element. It's about taking earthly actions. It's about thinking about details. It's about thinking about structure. It's about thinking about your physical body and meeting those basic needs. Then we've got the water element. So the water element is it's related to our emotions. It's related to our emotional body. And if our emotions are out of balance, is where a lot of people make bad mistakes in life. When your emotions are running high or they're excessively low, you're not going to make good decisions. So water is related to emotions, and it's related to energy and motion. It's related to our creativity. It's related to our sacral chakra, whereas the earth element is our base chakra. It's related to creation, because we're very creative people, artists and musicians, and that are very tapped in to their emotional self. And we see, a lot of people, everyone has emotions, but a lot of people can get very emotionally imbalanced. And this is a problem especially when we're coming into finances. And actually finances are directly related to water, because finances, like water, is meant to flow. It's about flowing actions. We call, when we've got money on tap, it's liquid. It's liquidity. We have a thing called a bank. And where does a bank live? It lives on the side of a river where the water flows. And that is not that's not a coincidence. That's actually how languaging is related to certain aspects of our life, and how languaging is another very, very important aspect. But the bank also holds the water in place, and it directs the river, and it flows, and it never flows in a straight line. So it's exactly the same with our life. It's not going to go in a straight line. Finances won't go up in a straight line. We have straight lines in the first dimension, but when we put all the dimensions together, life is pretty much a flow of circles and cycles of up and down. Then on the other, you could say the opposite of water is air. And air is all about thoughts. It's about our imagination. Well, actually, imagination is probably a combo of our emotions and our thoughts in good harmony. But the thoughts are related to our research. It's related to knowledge gaining. It's the actual acquiring the knowledge. Takes mental application. And when we're dealing with things like crypto, it takes a bit of the left brain. The air element is the left brain element, whereas the emotional side is the right brain element, which actually relates to the opposite side in your body. So the left brain rules the right-hand side of the body. The right brain rules the left-hand side of the body. So they're crossed over. But this creates a perfect balance because they're basically paired. So the mental application relates to, as I say, air. So it can be very floaty. Can be very dreamy. So people who are very dreamy and have their head in the clouds, as the saying goes, they will be very much often in the left brain. And we need to utilize our left brain when doing things on the computer, when we're doing technological things, and it comes to crypto, and that is obviously there's a part to play in that. This is really important. And then we have the fire element, and the fire element is really it's a bigger context. We're getting into finer elements. The fire element is about our passion. It's also related to purpose, but the ultimate purpose is more ether. It's all to do with our action with people. It's often to do with the who question. Who are we dealing with? And who am I as well? Relates to internal and external. Whereas the air element is often a what question. But all the questions, all 6 questions, what, when, how, why, where, when, these are all these questions need to be asked in every element. But each element will have a key question that is predominantly key to that element. So the how question is very much related to the earth. But the fire question can be a who, and so can water, actually. So, but the questions this takes a bit of practice. This takes a lot of practice to understand what's right for you, and to how it's like putting the pieces of a puzzle together. And I've been working with those pieces for so long. In my mind, it's starting to come clear, but it's another thing to express it out to you and try and get other people to understand what I have been contemplating and thinking about and feeling for a long time. So fire is really, again, it's really coming back to fire. It's all about what lights you up. It's really, so it's why I relate it to passion, because passion will light you up. It's kind of an emotion, but it's more heart-based rather than the lower emotions, which is more, this is more heart-based. That's the way I see it. And from there we have the ether element, which is, to me, it's the ultimate biggest context. You know, we live in a life where the context is the biggest picture. It's the absolute big picture. And I'm always saying to people, we have to focus on the big picture. The big picture is a why question. Why am I doing this? And what am I trying to achieve that may help to affect humanity? What are we doing that can help, for our little part, can help to change the world in a tiny way? But by thinking big, it can have a big impact. even though it might seem very small to you. We're all units and cells in a much larger body called the universe, and everything is connected. Everything is energy, and prana or ether is all pure energy source or oneness is which we all come from. It's the most finest element that we don't see, but without it, nothing would exist in the earth. So it's also the above, as the earth is the below. So I do bring in the hermetic laws here, and as above, so below, as within, so without. And by doing that, you can imagine a vertical line going up. And when you go as within, so without, imagine a horizontal line going across, and you've got your cross. So focus on your why. They say if you have a big enough why, the how works itself out very easily. It's probably not like that in actual practice, but that's the way the saying goes. So we have to think about how we're going to achieve this. We've got to think about why we're doing it. We've got to think about when we're going to start. Well, now is a good time. We've got to think what question is, what am I going to do now? What are our goals? What are our stepping stones to get to the ultimate goal? And what do we need to research? What token or what particular strategy are we going to use to get to our goal? And we also need to think about who is very important, because it's the people around us that we might want to assist us. Who is behind the project that we're looking at? If we're going to invest money into, say, a crypto, or if we're investing money into any business or anything, the people that are dealing with that, making the decisions, the CEO, we need to be very much researching the who. In this look at this world today is in a mess because certain people who are controlling the world don't have our best interests at heart. So we've got to look at the nature of the people involved. What is their values? What is their why? What is their ultimate ethos? Are they got high integrity? So that's kind of like mapping out a view. I'm trying to apply these elements that are very abstract into a more concrete way, so that we can start thinking about it. Another thing that I like to portray is, if we go outside into nature, that can take care of all the elements. Because when we're in nature, if we're walking along the beach, we're literally interacting with the water element, we're walking on the earth element, we're breathing in the air element, and assuming the sun's out, we're getting the fire element. And this is why I always try to portray nature as a principle that's integral to whatever we do in life, whether it's be financial, building, it's our relationships. It comes back to everything again. It always comes back to the same things. And so when you're walking in nature, you're literally interacting with the different elements as a whole. And that's a great way. That's why we always feel good when we're at the beach. You're near a body of water. We're a body of water. We're carrying 70-80% water in our body. We're made of the earth. We're also made of air, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, all air elements. And we're also a light being. We're also connected to the sun in an integral way. So I really recommend, if people getting, like it happens to me all the time, when I'm working on the computer for a while, I get to the point where I just frizzle out. My brain gets fried, and I'll just go out and I'll do some gardening. I'll do mow the lawns. I'll just walk around. on the grass, and it's amazing how quickly I can get back into balance, and my energy just goes up. And I often do this too. When I come home from work, I usually am driving all over the city. Sometimes I'm driving, a lot of driving outside of the city. I'll come home. First thing I do is I'll go outside, and within half an hour, I'm feeling much more refreshed. So yeah, this is sort of a fairly big picture view. It's a fairly massive download again, but I hope that you get something out of it. It's probably things that you are always doing anyway. But what I contend is we should consciously start to look at all our practices in our day. We should look at our day and consider, is this an air action? Is this a water action? Is this an earth action? Is this a fire action? Is this something that is stimulating me passion-wise? Is this a left brain thing? Is this an emotional? Do I need my emotional side engaged? Do I need to focus on the detail, the structure with the earth? And try and make your day so that you're attending to these at least the four main basic elements every day. Do something that is nurturing those elements. And I find that really, really helps. So yeah, maybe we might want to put some people got some questions, or if people need some clarification on what I'm trying to say, and they don't quite understand, because the application and the implementation here is key. And George is saying he's just got 10 minutes of battery life left. So we're going to have to, we've probably only got 10 minutes anyway, and then that will be it for today. But I wanted to, thank you for coming and listening to this. This is a hard thing to try and express, and I intend on getting more into the nitty-gritty with it as we go along. Like, I can focus on the nuts and bolts and more how-tos and that sort of thing, and my models go more into the Trinity model, and you could have a four-way model with the directions. The Native American medicine wheel is another perfect model, another example which has a different, same basic concept but slightly different application. Yeah, so just if there's anyone who wants to say anything or comment.
I think we can put up, you had some slides to kind of illustrate some of these things. So maybe we can put it up somewhere eventually, maybe on the Facebook page or something, so people can get back to that. Do you think we could do that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll post them up there, and this is the beginning of obviously a big conversation that we could have. There is so many, depending on people's personalities, because some people are very kinesthetic, some people are very visual, some are audio, but a lot of people are visual. 80% people use our eyes. Our eyes are our main sense, really, because what we see dominates our senses, dominates our thinking so much. And so yeah, happy to do that, and I'm happy to start feeding more information into EarthStar Freedom page and on Crypto Night about examples of what I've just spoke about. I'll start putting up my own models of how you can how you can start creating these yourself. Because when you start creating them, you're creating something that's visual. You're using a few words, but it's very, very simple. And or if you create a 5-pointed star and you said, right, I'm going to do my 5 key values for my crypto investment, and try and make them so that they're all sort of independent of each other, but interdependent. And I just find that you start off real simple like this. This is like a goal-setting exercise, but using geometry and using patterns and models that come from nature and from all around us.
Tracy, in fact, Tracy comments, as far as overcoming fear of not having enough money or crypto, maybe the application of the EarthStar principle will help balance that.
Absolutely right, because once you've got all 5 elements, you're starting to incorporate them into your daily life. You have to come into balance by nature, and the fear cannot live when you are taking positive action, when you are doing something that is answering your why, and when you're doing something that is appeasing your brain as well as your emotions, as well as building structure and your passion, your real strengths as in your passions, then the fear cannot live in that place. And if you, I know for myself, all my businesses have been based on this. They were, for the many years I was doing it sort of without consciously realizing I was doing it. Whereas now, since I've had the opportunity to live on a little bit of land where I get access to the outside a lot, and I've found that I've consciously, using nature, been building this into my life. So now it's almost automatic for me. So I have my time where I do my crypto investing. That's very much left brain for me. I have my time with my partner and my family. That's for me that's appeasing my emotional life. I'm creating the structures for my life. My foundation is based on truth. It's based on also lots of other things that we can that are foundational. The people around me, the right people around me, the researching my knowledge, building models. Models is very much a earth-based foundation. And then we've got the fire element, the passion element, which is those things that you just naturally love to do. Could be exercise, which is also another good for the body. So I just think we should consciously design our life with these principles and these elements in mind. That's my short answer to what's a very big subject.
So what would people here tell us? What is your key topic in 1 or 2 words? What is your key topic you'd like to find out more about, and perhaps how to apply EarthStar principles? So feel free to pop it in the comments. Is it finances, health? Is it relationships? Is it finding purpose? So Tracy says, how to differentiate between fear and your inner guidance. Feeling your can you give a no, because she said KNOCIES. Not sure what that means. Can you give a personal example of how you could differentiate between fear and your inner knowing guiding your actions?
Fear is contracting, and your inner knowing, you'll feel expanded and energized. With fear, you will contract, and you will find your energy has dropped, and you will have difficulties cognitively, or you'll find that you might be getting extra emotional. You feel lightheaded, or you'll be sick You'll feel sick to the stomach. You'll feel it in your physical body. I think that you know your true inner guidance, or your true inner knowing, your intuition is always for expansion, and it will always make you feel. You'll feel the difference. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel often with the fear, if you can hear your inner chatter, it'll often be a lot of negative self-talk involved with it. And we don't often hear it, but it's thousands of thoughts are going through our mind every day. We're not even aware of it. So I think that if you can spend more time in stillness and meditation, or just simply being with nature is what I do when I'm feeling a little bit fearful, or when I'm feeling really completely strung out after being in Auckland traffic all day. That's where I go for a walk with bare feet if I can, and walk around nature, or go to the ocean, go and have a swim in the sea, or just have a walk, because I find that just a simple action and the exercise you're getting, it's increasing endorphins in your body, the happy chemicals. I really think that it's the simple things that we can do. Or sometimes it might mean expressing yourself to your partner, to your family. It's often about a problem shared is a problem halved. And I'm always saying that to my own partner. I think also fears need to be expressed sometimes. Anger needs to be expressed. They're not good to be held inside. They're meant to be seen. And once you really recognize that you're in fear, that immediately dissolves the worst part of the fear.
Yeah.
Because it's bringing it to light. It's bringing the fear as darkness. Think of fear as darkness, and think of your awareness as the light. If you put your awareness light on, the fear has to dissipate.
And Afina says, also when we address fear or lack of, can link in with making shifts consciously in the ways. People can contribute in writing their own miracle stories. So she's suggesting ways you can address it. I know in my heart this is the way to liberate and change our world and the world as a whole. You will feel a huge shift in your energy.
I love the writing out ideas. I do a lot of journaling myself. I am a writer, and in fact I use writing as a therapy. And when I write articles on social media and that, those articles, the more that you write, the more that you can clarify in your own mind what's important to you. And it's amazing how the action of writing creates a harmony inside yourself, because it is a form of expression that is helping you to let go. If you write about the things that concern you or you're fearful of, you often find that reduces the fear immediately. Yeah.
Right. And has anyone thought of what they'd like to hear about over the next few weeks? But possibly starting with Earth, eh?
Starting with Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably start with the Earth, and then we can look at different types of thinking that we can, different states of being, different actions. There's different things that we can do, and then when we're doing those, there's different ways that we can interact with the Earth itself, as well as developing those states of mind that are really, if you look at earthy people, they're very stable. They're not hurried. They're very Kapha people in Ayurveda. So they will consider things over a long period of time. They will not make rush decisions. So if you're a person that jumps and makes rush decisions and then you regret it, you need more earth. If you're someone that takes a long, long time to make a decision and that's hampering you, then you maybe need more fire. You need more light, you know. And this is where we can look at all the different nuances, because we live in a polar world, we live in a duality world. So it does take, we've got to use the polarities to our advantage. We can't get polarized or stuck on one side of the ledger or the other. We can't be stuck up in the floating around in the spirit realms if our feet are not on the ground. We're not making any earthly sense of our great ideas. We're not putting them into a container and then taking them in the direction they need to go on the earth plane. And I see a lot of people like that. Or I see people who are very emotional and they're almost fearful to use their left brain. And that is a trap as well. I mean, left, a lot of men are left brain because it is a kind of a masculine energy. So I understand how a lot of ladies sometimes struggle with that, because you're very sensitive and its emotions come naturally. However, it's just simply a little bit of tweaking involved, and it can fall into place very, very quickly. Just a little bit of practice, like exercising a muscle at the gym.
Okay, so I think that's all my battery has time for.
Yeah.
But we've got, just a couple of minutes. If anybody has anything to say or any last words, Tony, about 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, I appreciate everyone for coming, and I really do appreciate. I wanted to say that. Just thank you, and we're a little bit disorganized today. I hope to have had the slides up for you, and the slides are actually very helpful for me as well, because that's a structure that I need, because I'm a visual person as well, and when you start to wing it, sometimes I can appear to like go off track a little bit, and it becomes a little bit of I'm the flowing river without any bank. But
well, we will sort that out once lockdown is over, and maybe I can pop round and we can sort out the slides issue, and next time we'll be
good.
Better organized. Sorry about the little bit of chaos today. Okay, well, thank you very much everyone for dropping by, and bring your friends next time, and hope to see you soon.
Yep. So I'll think of ways of how I can adapt that earth element to finance as well, and give people some actual tasks and actions to do as well. I'll actually do my homework.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. See you next time. So next week will be Freedom Friday, where we talk more about cryptos and how to get into the crypto, get involved, start researching, start finding ways to safely and confidently explore the digital currency world, and how you can start building income and building your assets, and working your way into the new economy. So
we will focus on the foundation simple principles to get started, which will be very a follow-on from what we were just saying. It will be earthy based, but I'll be going more into the nuts and bolts of what to do and how to do it, rather than talking about this more abstract. It'll be more an objective talk.
So just to explain, every alternate Friday is Freedom Friday, which is Krypton Night. So go to Krypton Night page and like that, and then you'll get the notices. And that's specifically around cryptocurrency, blockchain, and working with the new digital economy. And then the alternate Fridays, which is today, is EarthStar Freedom Friday, where you learn the general principles behind all that. Is that correct?
Well said. It's
Yeah.
the bigger context,
Yes.
whereas the kryptonite is more the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Well, thanks everyone, and see you next time.
Great. Thanks, Gerald.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, everyone. See you now.